Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I got the MN78 back on the table, and we're going to do another small upgrade to it. Today's upgrade will be these metal shocks here. We're going to upgrade those. And we're going to get these plastic shocks off. And I thought these were the oil field shocks, but they're not. I mean, you can open them up and put oil in them, which I did, and it leaked right on out. So basically they're friction shocks, but they just got metal metal parts to it, so instead of the all plastic shocks. So, and I don't know exactly how much softer it'll make the suspension, because I know with the stock it's kind of, springs are kind of stiff, but these springs, they seem like they're not as stiff. So we're gonna see if these springs are a little bit better for this truck. So we're gonna try these out, and we're gonna throw on these right here. And basically all this is, we're gonna throw this on, and basically all it is the link. It's the link, it's the drag link. So we're gonna put this metal drag link on and put this steering link on. That way we'll have metal parts in the front for stability. So those are the upgrades we're gonna do today. And I guess I can kind of show you all the upgrades coming later on another video. On another video, we're going to use this little piece here to give this crawler a little more punch. You may be asking, how can this little piece right here give this little crawler a little more punch? Well, this is the conversion adapter I need for the motor. I'm going to take this little 280 motor out of here and swap in a 390 brush motor. That's the plan, but that'll be on another video. But today we just have the links, drag link, steering link we want to put on, and these metal shocks. So let's get to it. So I can already tell that these shocks will actually allow this truck to flex a little bit more, because these springs are not as stiff. These springs here are not as stiff as these red springs here and these plastic shocks. So look at these shocks, it's all plastic. Everything is plastic on there except for the metal spring. So now we putting these new shocks with the metal shaft, metal springs, but the housing around it is plastic still. So Shocks are, the shocks are a little bit louder, but I think it's gonna give it a little more flex, a little more suspension softness. The only time will tell when we put the body, because the body actually puts weight onto the chassis, so we'll see once we put the body on there. Have the links installed, and we have the shocks installed, so we are ready to go with that. I need to tighten it down a little bit more. Other than that, we in business. Okay. There we go. And there we go. Links installed. All 4 shocks installed. Now I'm not sure if these shocks gonna perform any better than the stock ones. But when I got these, I actually thought these were the oil fill shocks. I thought these was the metal oil fill shocks, and to my surprise, they're not the oil fill ones. They are just the friction metal shocks. So don't know exactly how much better these would be versus the stock ones, but we'll check these out, test them out, and see what these do versus the stock ones, and we'll go from there. You know, I actually thought about getting the MN82, but I realized the MN82 is the same thing as this MN78. The only difference really is the rear suspension. On the MN82, it has dampers and leaf springs on the rear, so, and I think that's really the only thing. The electronics are the same, and the electronics are terrible. The ESC is so loud on this truck, it doesn't make any sense. The low speed range on this is terrible. You can be full throttle on low range trying to crawl over something, and it won't go anywhere. You just hear the ESC humming. So I was actually thinking about swapping this ESC out, and I actually will swap this ESC out if I go ahead and do the motor swap on this, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it yet or not, but I do have the plate, so I can do the swap whenever I decide to do it, if I do it. But yeah, that's the reason why I don't have the MN82. I kind of held off on getting it when it came out. Thought about getting it, but I just held off on it. And this is sure, just saying, I got the MN82 just in a Jeep form. But who knows? Down the line, I may go ahead and grab one. I may change my mind and get one, and see what I can do with it as well. But we got a few more upgrades for this. These wheels. On the last video, And if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. On the last video, I tested the new wheel we put on here, and I tested it without cutting the wheel well. And to me, it actually performed pretty good. It had a little rubbing when it flexed a little bit, but as far as that, these tires are so soft that they collapse, and so it didn't really make a big difference. Went out there testing them out. So going on flat land, it doesn't rub on the wheel well. It just fills the wheel well up. So so that's a good thing. So we're gonna keep these wheels, and we're not gonna cut on the truck. So I like it like that. We're gonna see how these metal friction shocks work. Tried to put oil in them. Oil just came out of it. And the links I just put on just to be, you know, just for some stability up front when turning. And I actually tried to match the color of the Jeep, but that blew us off from that one. But it's all good. So, but all right, guys, that's the end of this video. We're gonna test these shocks out in the next video, and we'll go from there. Y'all be safe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Yeah. So the new shocks have made a little bit difference with the ride height. I don't know if you all can tell, but you can see that it's a little more wheel space in the rear and in the front. So it did raise it up a little bit. And it's not as bouncy as the stock shocks, but still these are friction shocks, but not as bouncy as the stock friction shocks. So we're gonna see how that works out. Still not a whole lot of flex in it, whole lot of articulation, but you're not gonna get much out of these trucks anyway. So but all right, guys, I just want to show you all that, and we'll test this out on the next video.